are allowed to stop people without cause and ask for identification and other information. The previous police chief, who was white, put a partial end to it earlier this year, but the successor, who is black, says he supports it as a useful police tool. The story says,
"It's my intention and that we start fresh, building what Torontonians and the world would expect of us, this very special place. And that is a way of working together, individual and human rights, and befitting a safe city that is a model to the world in respecting diversity and building a bias-free community."
Tory says he intends to go before Toronto's police board on June 18th and call for carding to be eliminated. A huge manhunt is underway just south of the border for two convicted killers. The FBI, New York State, and local police have set up roadblocks and are searching house to house near the Quebec border. The CBC's Steve Niles has details.
These two men are seemingly still on the run at this time, having broken out sometime either Friday night or Saturday morning from prison. The two individuals that we are talking about, one of them, 48-year-old Richard Mack, serving 25 years to life for murdering a businessman in 1997, and there's also 34-year-old David Sweat, sentenced to life without parole in the slaying of a sheriff deputy in 2002. The reason that there might be a little bit of concern or interest for Canadians as well is that the prison in upstate New York is only about 65 kilometers from the border with Quebec. Now, we know that police on both sides of the border are engaged in efforts of this, and that police in both Ontario and Quebec, while they're not actively looking, they are on alert to see if anything does come up, although at this point they are saying that they have no evidence that this pair had any intention of crossing into Canada.
The CBC's Steve Niles in Toronto. Prime Minister Stephen Harper is pushing his European counterparts to ratify a free trade deal with Canada. Harper used the first day of the G7 summit in Germany to call on European leaders to implement the comprehensive economic and trade agreement, which he says would create jobs. Ratifying the pact would be a major political win for Harper in advance of the planned federal election this fall. Harper has met with British Prime Minister David Cameron and plans to sit down with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Turkey's governing party, the AKP, is on track to losing its parliamentary majority for the first time in 13 years. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will not be able to change the constitution to extend his powers. In an extraordinary result, the pro-Kurdish HDP party threshold to enter parliament for the first time by winning more than 10% of the vote. Mark Lowen has more presidential.
Whatever you say about the state of Turkish politics, the electorate is extremely engaged. It is partly because Mr. Erdogan himself is such a divisive force in politics, and that a lot of people feel that at the time they could give him a bloody nose, clip his wings. His supporters, of course, adore him, say that he's transformed this country, but really, this is the start of a new political era in this country, and that is why it has ramifications far beyond Turkey's borders.
The BBC's Mark Lowen in Istanbul, Turkey. And finally, Al Pacino has been honored by the city of Montreal. Mayor Denis Coderre presented the keys to the city to the Oscar-winning actor, best known for his roles in The Godfather and Scarface. And when asked what he liked about Montreal, here's what Pacino said.
Everything about it, it's got a certain eccentricity in it at the same time. It feels like New York, it feels like Europe, it feels like its own thing, you know, I love it.
Pacino in town for a performance at the Place des Arts tonight.